Calling all nerds. This is More Than Dice, the podcast where we dive deep into the realms of everything nerdy. Whether you're a nerd culture connoisseur, a tabletop titan, a miniature gaming marveler, or just someone who proudly embraces their inner geek, this is the podcast for you. And now, let's get to the show.
And welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm Captain Mizzy.
I'm Nessie.
And welcome to episode 340. If you have been hiding under a rock or you didn't listen to us last week, we are going to be talking about Daggerheart. The game that's kind of like, I wouldn't say sweeping the nation, but there's a lot of people looking into it and trying to figure out what and how it is.
It's got a lot of nerds excited about it.
Yeah. Daggerheart is a system that was worked with the Critical Role people, Matt Mercer and all of them, and some other people, to make a new system that is just not a clone of D&D. Because, let's get it right. A lot of people play D&D, no matter the edition, so on and so forth. And there's, smaller other ones. And some games are very widely varied and different, but this game has kind of changed the way that I actually GM and actually changed the way that I look at GMing and playing. So there were some concepts that came out when we read this that I was like, I like these concepts in this game. I think we need to look at this and figure out and do a show on it, because this is not only concepts for Daggerheart, but concepts that I think people should do in other games, period. Because there are plenty of these concepts that should be introduced into another game, especially doing a campaign system or whatever. But before we do that, we got to give a big shout out to our friends over at Turbo Dork that are hanging out with us and providing awesome sponsorships. Pay attention. Pretty soon we'll have a gift certificate giveaway. I think we're doing giveaway a $20 or $25 gift certificate. Can't remember. To their store.
Damn it, Gonzo.
Yep. It's like
got
I've
one
slept. I got one job, stay alive. But we have done a small partnership with Eldritch Foundry. If you're following our Facebook or Instagram, we're doing a lot of models for Daggerheart with the Eldritch Foundry toolset. And if you would like a discount code to get a physical print or use our affiliate link, let us know. If you're going to get a discount code, you can get 10% off any physical orders from them, just using MTD Friends 10, and you can get that. But if you're an STL person, use our affiliate link, because we do get a small little kickback from that, and it will help us fund our adventures in the nerdy world, because we're about to hit a lot more conventions and show our face a lot more out there. But like I said, we just want to make sure that we have a good time. And tonight, painting up the episode, we are painting up the assassin we did last Wednesday. So once a month, we'll be doing an Eldritch Foundry build an NPC with studio participation live, and I will print it and then paint it up either the next week or within a short week of time. This last one was inspired by Lynn Orzek, and her model is an assassin that will be making an appearance in the next game session we have for Daggerheart.
I hope she gets a lot of bodies on her. I mean,
She's gonna be a boss ass bitch that I will respect,
yep.
but as my character, will have a big problem with.
I did
she'll
do
start
some
out as an
painting on her.
underling.
Yeah. I did paint up a decent amount of her, but I was going to do some touch-ups and clean up for this episode. But Mizzy, do we have any shout-outs this week?
Yes. Help me out here, Nessie. What's his name? He voiced Eric Legrand. He was He's a French voice actor. He voiced Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. He passed away this past week.
Yes, unfortunately. He was awesome. I think he did the voice for what, 30 years?
Yeah.
Like a long time. And yeah, it's not going to be the same. Unfortunately, it's kind of like when Goku's voice actor passed away, the Japanese voice actor. It's not the same. They can try, but you know, there's certain voices that live in infamy, and his was one of them.
Yep. I can't remember if there's anybody else. Do shout out, tomorrow is Memorial Day. Respect that. And everything. So, I don't think there's anything else. Anybody else? Anybody in chat got anything? Nobody? Giant chickens? All right.
It's always a giant chicken with you.
I don't know. Just me. Well, guys, as usual, please take care of yourself. Please look after each other. If you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. If you can do something, do something. If you can't, find some at will, because we've got to look after each other. So, Mizzy, what are you drinking tonight?
So I have inadvertently drank most of my drink already, but that is because it is a delicious little mixture that I made of Sprite, strawberry syrup, and blue curacao. And if you're in our Discord, I put a picture of it so you can see all the pretty stuff too. But I have now drank most of it.
Since I am recovering from the bottle of wine that I drank last night, just water today.
Just water.
Did you wreck yourself?
No, we were just watching movies and we finished a bottle of wine together, so it's a common thing.
I am doing the same thing as Nessie, as I am drinking just water tonight. I got to keep myself hydrated. I am off work tomorrow, so I'll probably be staying up extremely late tonight, printing off a bunch of models for things that are going to be happening. So.
Oh my God, you never.
Yeah, no, never.
I never would have guessed.
No. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Refreshing.
Crispy.
So, our topic is going to be some interesting things that what we're calling responsibilities that players and GMs should participate with in Daggerheart. And after I read over the whole book, went over everything. Of course, I didn't go through all minute details. Like I didn't read all the monsters. I just looked to see what the monsters were. And then when I start to want to use them, I will definitely test them out and such. But there was something that came up, and they were called responsibilities. There's player responsibilities and GM responsibilities. And I thought these two things were like, I wouldn't say universal, but it was something that I always thought, but they said it out loud. And I thought this was pretty interesting. So I'm going to go and switch over to the paint cam. For people listening, I will be painting up Lynn Orzek's miniature, which is an assassin half-elf fawn for Daggerheart. And she will make an appearance in our next RPG event when the players don't know, because Mizzy is in the channel and I don't want her to know. But she's going to, she takes off her ears. No, it'll just be there. It'll be a shocking surprise. But we will get that going. So I'm going to switch over to the paint cam real quick and go ahead.
Speaking of ears, Gonzo.
I have no clue. Nope, not allowed to do those anymore.
Put your ears on.
Oh, I need to add alerts to the paint stream. So hold on a second. That is actually a browser and the alert box.
We are way past 1 second, Gonzo.
The alert box didn't appear on this, which is weird. But all right, let's put that in there so that way we can have it. Move cameras and microphones.
Go on an adventure with Gonzo.
Getting dizzy.
Just don't puke.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we were talking about is actually I printed out like a bunch of stuff for myself because of the PDF, and the way they talk about the game is it's supposed to be a discovery as you play and everything, but player principles and best practices. I thought one of the things that was really interesting on here, and I'm gonna like set this over here so I can just look at it when I need to, was be a fan of your character and their journey. And I was like, that actually kind of makes sense. Because, I mean, I like my characters, I play my characters, but I don't know if I would consider myself a fan of my character. Mizzy, you're the bigger player out of all of us.
Yes.
What are you thinking about this?
So I like how it wants you to highlight your strengths and your weaknesses, because those can be really good story points. It's not all about what you can just do the best. It's okay, so we may not have a lock picking or words. Words are hard. So for example, let's say that, a door needs to come down, but you're by yourself and you don't have a rogue with you with their lock picks, right? So, okay, I'm going to try to smash this thing instead, which it highlights your strengths and your weaknesses, because it could be, yes, I can smash it, but could I have benefited if I had tried to lockpick it instead? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's things that you have to do in the game, if you're going to be quiet or, hard or fast or whatever. But, I mean, there's certain things about playing the game that when it comes to being a fan, I mean, I like my characters. There's quite a few characters I have that I wish I could have played that never got a chance to play, and will probably never get a chance to play them. And I'm like, well, that sucks. Because
that's why you have NPCs, though, right?
That's the reason why I have what?
That's why you have NPCs, right?
Hilariously, yes, this is what I do with my NPCs. Is I'm a huge fan of my NPCs, and my NPCs are most of the time my journey of getting through, because I don't get to play. So,
right. Yeah, I'm the same boat. Like, I end up turning player characters I make into NPCs in the long run. Just advance them in level.
Yeah.
Or make them, oh, they're one off, or I'll make them the big bad guy. And
here's what would have happened if I did get to play.
Yeah.
Right? I would have. Here's what happens if my player character had been corrupted.
So, but the interesting part is they're telling you to be a fan of your own character.
Mm-hmm.
And do cool things with your own character. And I think that was very kind of important for a lot of people, because a lot of people are just, I'm here to play the game. Yeah, this character is going to be blah, blah, blah. How do I min-max them or whatever? And when you're a fan, you root for your characters to do cool stuff. And you should. You should do cool stuff. Because it also leads to one of the biggest ones that I saw on here. And I think there is a big, and I don't want to say trap, but that's the biggest thing that I've learned, especially coming into parties or coming into people's games. Because I've come into people's games, a year in advance or whatever. And everybody is paranoid of everything. And as a GM, that can get very, very annoying. And it gets annoying very quickly. But one of their concepts that they talk about in this, this is a best practice, is to embrace the danger. So embracing the danger can go to a plethora of things. But it not only is it the danger of your characters, but the danger of NPCs, the dangers of the monsters, because a GM doesn't give a shit if a monster dies or not, technically. So the monster is going to do whatever, NPC is going to do whatever and just go for it. While a player and Mizzy has seen this, and we've seen this a lot recently. We even saw it at our game of, I don't trust anybody, I don't trust anything, I'm not going to do that. When really, your ass should be doing that. Because you're an adventurer, and adventurers should be going crazy. Mizzy, from the standpoint of a player, what do you take on this?
I like that it reminds you to not be overly cautious, to not let you as a person affect your character's gameplay. Because, yeah, I can have all kinds of anxiety, but my character doesn't have to have that anxiety. My character can be a brave motherfucker and fly off walls and, get in the way of a skeleton that's trying to body snatch you with a wraith, that kind of thing.
So
Based on true facts.
Just for everybody to know, we played the game, and we did play the starting adventure in the game, and one of the final battles is a wraith that can pass through other people's bodies and steals the souls out of their bodies, and so I did that to Mizzy.
My clank had their metal parts shooketh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so that happened, and it was actually pretty good. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, so even though, it's absolutely terrifying, I would never want that to happen to myself. My character says, "Fuck yeah, let's go, bring it on."
Right.
Shooketh my metal parts.
So I just saw your message. Thanks. I wanted to do, this is going to be assassin, so I just went ahead and just did black leathers and started just doing touch-ups and, cool things. And all of this is painted with contrast paints, except for the small little detail stuff that I'm doing, where I'm painting gems and so on and so forth.
And the purple is so Lynn.
Yes.
Oh, I know. That's the reason why when I did this, I was like, I gotta have a Lynn thing on here, and I'm like, the purple is her.
Yes.
You should freehand her logo.
You forget who you're talking to. But and all of this was done really quickly too, because I was like, and this is the 125%. This is the actual miniature we'll be playing with compared to it, and I increased this by 20. This one is increased by 25%, and this one's increased by 75%. So this one is going to be the one we're going to play with, but I wanted to paint the big one up because it has, it's easier to see, and this will take no time with speed paints. This one I spend a little bit more detail on.
Oh yeah. Hi, Bree.
Hey, Bree.
Hey, Bree.
Love you, miss ya. But going through this, I really like that concept of embrace the danger. Even when I'm a player, prime example, I think I told Mizzy this, but I don't have a problem with the character dying. Doesn't bother me one bit. But what makes it very interesting is I was playing in this new Star Wars game, and it was supposed to be during the Yuvong invasion and so on and so forth. And my character died first episode because we needed to get out, and there was only way to get out, and someone had to block the path and stop the Yuzong from coming through. And so I was like, I'll do it. Your character will die. So, this is a story. If a character dies in the first episode, I'll make a new one. I ain't got no problem with it. Even if I have to make him junior, because I like the concept.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with that. That makes for great storytelling. And
I love an episode where you're invested in a character in the first episode of a show, and they die at the end of the episode. And the story continues on just because something that starts a whole other chain of reactions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just in a TV episode. I think that some people are like, oh, that's lazy writing. No, I love episodes like that.
So my thing is, I don't necessarily want my character to die if I've put some effort into it, but if they are going to die, I want it to mean something.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm a dumbass.
Right. But that's the other thing. And maybe I've looked at the character creation, and it's super fast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the character creation is not a problem.
It's super fast. It's probably not the fastest, but it's close to it. like, hey, this is what we recommend for starting equipment. This is what we recommend for starting weapons, depending on your class. It's all on the character sheet of your class. This is what the community and underborn, highborn, all those others. It looked really easy to build a character.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Right. And I think it is, which actually kind of leans into another best practice that they list is discovering your character. So you don't have a whole lot of information when you build your character, but as you play, you can explore different ideas of what that base information is and expand on that, saying, okay, so like for my character, for instance, I am a Clank Seraph. And the way that we've got it built is the way, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I am C3PO and I am Thor. So
That's
then,
awesome.
so then it's like, okay, so how would C3PO do this? But then also like have like the might of Thor going on there, and then putting my own flavor into it. So it really helps have that open ended way of thinking.
Yeah,
So I like that.
the one of the interesting parts about all of this concept of be a fan of your character and such is you want your character to survive. We all do. I
Mhm.
mean, but we all know that a good story, not everybody lives in a good story.
Right.
And you may be the character that doesn't live. But when you decide to be an adventurer, you should embrace the danger. That's no if, ands, or buts about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You should be the one. I'm going to leap over this cavern. I'm going to protect my person. Because if not, take your character and go retire.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. Hide in the forest because you're really not. You're the hero of the story.
Yes.
Be the hero. Um,
And heroes die.
Similar heroes. Some heroes die.
Yeah.
Right. I've played in a Star Wars game, and one of the characters went on top of the shuttle and the spaceship and fought a Mandalorian on top of the spaceship while it was in atmosphere. Crazy, right? And he lived, but the fact is that he could have fallen off the ship. Something could have happened. He could have inadvertently gotten the shuttle, lost an engine or a thruster or something. So if you don't embrace the danger, you'll never advance the story, which is one
Mhm.
of the parts they say here in the player. Tell the story.
Yeah.
And that's important. The players, the game master creates the story, but the players help tell the story. If the players don't advance or tell the story, there is no game, and you're
So
just sitting there.
yes, but also I feel like it's everybody's making the story
Right.
because, like Gonzo, for instance, he was like, "Okay, describe what you see in the forest," and I'm like, "Okay, so you, um, for instance, there was this part where we were in the forest, and he was like, "Okay, what do you see? What do you feel like? How you feeling about the environment?" I'm like, and mean brain took over. I always feel like somebody's watching me. I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Like there's eyeballs on me." Something's out there. So it's everybody contributing to the story. It's not all on the GM,
Right.
which is
And
really
but
nice.
right. And the players, but if the players don't interact,
Hmm.
and sometimes you get players that don't kind of like role playing, right? They kind of like just the action but don't interact with the environment. And I've had this in the past where the players kind of just like, what do you do? Oh, I don't know. Like you, I could push an NPC on you to help you, but I like to hear your thoughts. And like I like interaction with the players. I like to hear personally. Like I like to hear, hey, you're in the town, you're in the bar, or in the tavern, or you're in the church, or you're in the mayor's office, or so something. What do you want to do? It's like poke. Poke, do something.
So I'm guilty of being that player, and I will fully own that. But I am trying to get better, and a lot of it comes with time and being comfortable with the idea of, okay, what's going to come out of my mouth is not going to sound stupid. It's going to help.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we all that that's just a getting over the aspect. But
Yeah.
one of the things that they highly suggest in this game is the players tell the GM what's going on, and the GM interprets it and modifies it, or changes it up to help or do whatever, which I think is really good for this game. Because we did the starting adventure, and there's a part where you're supposed to ask a character, hey, what do the woods look like to you? And then you interpret it, and then you use it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. And there was nothing wrong with what they said. It's just now I get to use you. I get to have you more immersed in the story than me being everything.
Yes.
Which I think is something really good for the game, because usually, and it's not every time, we're not saying that these are very unique ideas or people, but people have watched. I can't watch a lot of people playing, games, role playing games, because it's usually the GM going, in this room you see a giant table that works and has a lot of stuff, and you can tell that they're reading off on the scorecard. They're reading off the card. And I usually like to paraphrase it, even if I'm using that. And that's what I did at our adventure. I paraphrased everything that we were doing. But this game wants the players to be more interactive with the story. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I want them to do. And it helps out a lot. So
Yeah. Plus, if they creep themselves out from describing the forest, that's their fault, not mine. Because I love horror theme. I love Curse of Strahd, Ravenloft, that environment of like vampires, werewolves, zombies, mummies, so on and so forth. So if they tell me the forest is dark, brooding with fog in the backgrounds, with uh, you know, glowing eyes, you think it's an owl, but you're not quite sure. Cool. You give yourself nightmares. Not my fault.
yeah, but I mean, this game, it kind of lends to that, which I think is really good. And it wants the players to describe stuff that's going on. And that goes what we're talking about. You build the world together. Mm-hmm. Mithy described something. I built it. I flexed on it. I went even further with it. And that's something that, that's a concept for them, is they want you to build the world together as a team, not just be, here it is,
Yeah.
Just let the players expand on it. Let the players give into it. It's their world they're playing in. Give it to them. And I think that's a really good concept that one is GMs that we kind of have a problem. I don't want to say problem, but have an issue, is that we want a lot of control and want to dictate a lot goes on, because it is our world. No problem. We are building it. But this is a collaborative effort, not a, you're doing everything what I want you to do and you can't do anything else.
I like that the environment and the rules of the game feel like they are much more loose, so that I feel like I have the freedom to contribute versus following a script somewhere or messing up a story that someone has planned, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I want to be able to do stuff. I'm a very improv type of person playing games. Before Daggerheart, because I just want to cause shenanigans and fuckery, as one do. But I also don't want to screw something up. I use that phrase loosely. You know what I'm saying? Because of my shenanigans and fuckery. So I feel like I have more freedom using this system because they encourage that.
Shenanigans are fun. Even a GM has to accept it sometimes. I had players literally go on. They were about to riot because I left them on a cliffhanger. Um,
Well, that's just you being a motherfucker.
it is, but I've never had the shenanigans where the players literally riot and say, "No, you have to finish. You can't leave it like that. Like, why are you there? We don't have a curfew. Why are you finish? What's wrong with you? Finish the story." They were so invested, um, with what I did to them, and it was an Iron Kingdoms, uh, 5e game, and they just were like, "No, no, 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 no. Why? No, no. Continue. We want you to finish the story." They got themselves to this situation, and from them telling the story, from them making decisions and actually playing their characters, and I say, "This is the consequences of your actions," and they're like, "Wait, what? No." And I was like, and we'll talk about that next month. And they literally, I felt like my life was in danger. uh,
They brought out the shank, said, "No, you're gonna finish it now."
no, they didn't need to bring out the shanks. The shanks were on the table. Like there was mechanical pencils waiting to be, used. Uh, but that's what I like, and I like that they like Gonzo mentioned it, they said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Looking at this is something that in the 30 years of me being a game master and a player, I've seen very few players actually embrace some of these because they spent, I don't know, a day plus writing up their character sheet and making it so they min max on like their physical endurance and their stamina, and they do something to get the most hit points for their character and so on, and they get the best magical weapon because it's allowed. And then you get the one guy that just says random and just enjoys the way his character was written and has more fun with it.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted that I thought was, and it goes along this whole concept: play to find out what happens. Goes to the
Mm-hmm.
thing, and I call this "fuck around and find out" episode.
Yes.
Pretty much,
Yep.
fuck around and let's see what happens. Because there's things I don't know what's going to happen unless y'all do it, and then once y'all do it, let's find out what happens.
I love when they say, "What's gonna happen if I open the door?" I don't know. Let's find out together.
Hey, Bree, thanks for
Bree,
the hydrate.
I would love to hydrate, but I just finished my drink.
Give me a second. I got paint on my brush, and I will take a swig of water. But like I said, this goes to the concept of fuck around and find out. Go
Yep.
I
find out.
preemptively hydrated, Brie. I preemptively hydrated. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Go find out why. And it goes back to the embrace the danger aspect also.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. They're afraid to interact with an NPC who's guarding the door. They think that they they fail seducing the guard with their bard, and they're afraid to what's gonna happen. You don't know until you do it.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you do
no,
and you fail, hey, that's fun too.
oh yeah, yeah. You may inadvertently cause more danger. You may inadvertently cause fun. It depends on the game master, and that's the thing. Not every game master is the same.
No.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have horror-filled themes, but I love a good laugh as much as the next one. Um, and you fail, and it could be just as funny as you succeeding. Um, you never know until you try it. And I like, as it says, it's the first one they mentioned. It's embrace the dangers, the first one there, which is awesome.
Yeah. Embrace the danger and go with it. Um,
Uh, Shadow Sword. Just because it's a bad idea does not mean it was not a good time. Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
We here for a good time. We're not here for a long time.
Yeah. Enjoy it.
Doing a little bit of feeling it. I want to do a little glow effect on her shoulder. Another one that they talk about, and I think this one, and it goes in. This is to me, and I have to get used to a little bit more. And it is address the characters and address the players.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept is to address the characters when it's a character thing, and address the players when it's a player thing. If a player's having a difficulty with the rule, address it with the player. But when it comes to the game, address the character. Don't address the player.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about it, it's like, yeah, that should be it. But how many times do we, and I caught myself doing it yesterday, was like, hey, so-and-so, oh, shit, no, do this. And try to keep that character in character is the best way to put it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it helps suspend that disbelief that you shouldn't be scared. Your character might be scared, but you shouldn't, and you should tell your character to do whatever, needs possible, type thing. But that one was just kind of like a no shit Sherlock to me. But I think the one on here that I really think that a lot of players need to do, more than anything else, is spotlight your friends. And when we say this, the concept of Daggerheart has a system called Spotlight. And when it's your turn, you are in the spotlight. You are doing all the cool stuff. You are the main emphasis of what's going on. You should be the hero at that time. Hero, villain, whatever. And you spotlight them and let them do the cool shit. Then you move on to the next person, and then you spotlight that. And that's how this game kind of interacts, is that you spotlight people and you tell them that, it's your time to shine. You're center stage, go for it. And one of the things that they do with this is, as a spotlight system, but spotlight your friends. Because there's a lot of things in this game that you interact with each other. Tag team events, allies, helpfuls, spending hope to help someone else, And not only should you let your friend have the spotlight, but help them have the spotlight too. Mizzy, I know this happened when we were playing yesterday. With it, you want to elaborate on that while I mix up some more paint?
So there was a couple times that I was like, okay, so I want to get other people's thoughts, or I want to see if they can do a cool thing type of stuff. So I turned to, at one point, I think it had something to do with magic and spells and stuff. We were at the house. That's what it was. I had turned to our wizard character and said, hey, is there anything you can do to help with this? Because the house was attached to a chain that was attached to a rock, and there was like no way we were getting up there by physical attributes. So I was like, hey, do you know anything about this? Because wizards. And magic-y spell stuff, not smashy stuff. And then our rogue has this special ability where they can take a mundane, just ordinary object out of their backpack. Just you
Ranger.
need a crowbar. I got a crowbar. Yeah, ranger. Yeah,
Ranger.
sorry.
Yeah, the ranger.
Words, things are words. But ranger. It was like, so I had asked during our short rest, hey, do you have a hammer? Because I was like, okay, I want to use a hammer to repair myself so I can heal it and get some health back in here. Because metal.
Yeah, there's the ranger is a nomadic ranger, and one of the abilities for being a nomadic ranger is once per game session you can spend a hope and pull out any type of mundane normal item, like, oh, I need a crowbar. Hold on a second, let me spend a hope, pull out a crowbar out of the backpack. It's like a Mary Poppins bag.
That's awesome. I was gonna ask how that worked, if it was a once per game or one hope at any time.
One hope per session.
That's pretty cool.
And you can pull out any one mundane item, I mean, within reason, and use it, and they say to work with the GM. You know, you're not going to pull out a boat or, you know, something of that nature, but you can pull out, you know, like I said, a hammer.
I now
Right.
have a hammer in my inventory.
Nice. Nice. It's a once per game bag of holding.
Yeah, once per
Yeah.
once per daily session, I guess you want to call it, since it's, you know, the sessions is where you're doing it. But yeah, and I was like,
That's cool.
that's actually a pretty cool ability, because sometimes you need just a hammer or something and you don't have it written down,
Right?
and you know, it worked out. So,
That also goes back to the tag teaming things too, because yeah, it's two people sharing the spotlight, but it's okay. How can we both shine in this?
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tag team. So they've got a concept in this game where you can use your hope and stuff. And if you and an ally have 3 hope, you can do a tag team once per game session. And so it's every time you play, you and your partner have 1, you know, 3 hope. You can do this huge combo, and it would be perfect example: Colossal and Wolverine's fastball pitch
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
thing, and that's the best way to put it. The mechanic is you both roll your dice. You take the best of the both dice rolls, and you can technically crit with that too, because you get to choose which dice to use. So if you both choose, you know, the same dice, you crit. You can do a crit and do massive amounts of damage, and you get like massive amounts of damage, cool abilities, you know, all this other stuff, and it lets you do this little tag team event, and lets you two shine for the you know, that short moment where you're having a lot of fun. But
So
go ahead.
really quick. So you both roll your hope and fear dice, and if you both rolled like say I rolled a 5 on my hope and Mizzy rolled a 5 on her fear, is that pretty much the same, or is it like how? Because I know crit is the same number regardless if it's 1 through 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
It has to be on the same. So is that how that works, or is it
Yeah.
okay?
Pretty much you
That's
take whichever die you want, one of the dies, and you both get to choose which die to use.
nice. That's pretty cool. And like you said, is it 3 hope per person, or
Yeah.
is it just nice? Okay.
So I mean, and it's a heavy hit, because I think that was the most damage we did, was over. It was like over 20, almost 30 points of damage.
Yeah. Yeah,
Type
it was.
thing. It was a severe hit.
Right. I can imagine. That has to be a severe hit. It's
I'd hope so.
right. So that's a severe, right? As the GM marks a minor.
I did do some. I was telling Mizzy, I did some calculation of what would it be like to have a fully leveled out warrior, and I went, "Holy crap!"
That shit is redonkulous.
Yeah, when you get higher levels and such, the characters, you look at it now that we've got like a basic concept of how the characters are first level, and going it to, you know, to 10th, I was like, "Holy crap!" It'll be some epic fucking battles. It'll be epic comboing bullshit going on. It's gonna be insane, and it's gonna be so much fun. Pretty
I
much.
do like the leveling. I do like the way leveling up works. Like you get little tiers and other add-ons as you move up in levels.
I gotta clean up the face a little bit, but she's pretty much
Oh,
done.
She's coming out sweet.
Nope.
I'm gonna clean up the face a little bit. I'm gonna do a wash of Agrath Earthshade on the face so it evens it out. But other than that, and one of the things, this goes without saying, use your resources. Use everything you got, and you should.
Don't forget that thing in your inventory, like a soft of rope.
A soft of
Yeah.
rope. So for people who don't know, there's this inside joke that Demiplane, their font is not the greatest when it comes to numbers. And when you look at it, it says soft of rope, when it's actually 50 foot of rope. So
Oh.
the 5 looks like an S.
That is-
So it's a running
Typography
gag.
matters, folks. Typography matters.
does.
Turn your shit. Take care of the visually impaired
Yeah.
and the tired.
Mhm.
What was some of the other ones? There was some of the GM ones that I thought that was really good. One of the things that I thought was ask and answer questions. So ask your questions, I answer them, etc., etc. Set the scene. The one thing they tell you is always start on a narrative, not a recap, but start on a narrative. Like zoom into the scene, zoom out in the scene, type thing. And you can. I'm like you, Nessie. I'm a cliffhang GM. I love to end things on a cliffhanger, but make it a narrative cliffhanger. And give a good narrative on the cliffhanger too. And so that was something that, I was looking at and I was like, I do that, but I'm going to make them more narrative cliffhangers and not just da-da type thing.
Right. Like I ended that session with one of the characters who was a warcaster was accused of AWOL, leaving the Signar army, and she was under arrest. And I said, you know, you're surrounded by Signar soldiers, and she's like, oh cool, my own people. And another Signar, it was actually one of the Signarian like high level warcasters that people know about, Constant Blaze, which is one of my favorite. And she shows up and draws her sword and says, Rowan, you are hereby under arrest for AWOL. Drop your weapons and come with us. And the characters are like, oh shit, like what happened? And they look at her like, what's going on? And I say, and the soldiers draw out their pikes and they're ready to, and they're like, oh cool, I guess we'll throw down. I'm like, nope, and we'll see you guys next time. And they literally were like, no, 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 no. We like, what? Like she's like, wait, what I do? Like you could see the nervousness in her eyes of like, wait, what did my character do? Wait, what do you mean AWOL? She's playing everything that we've done in the past and everything, and she's like, wait, what? Wait, what's going on? And then because they demanded it so much, it's pretty much like, no, skip to the next episode. They're they're ready to binge the next part of the series. And it was like a just basic storytelling. Didn't end on a bad note. It didn't end on in combat or somebody. It was basically, hey, it's ending on a story point. And it just went from there on immediately. I had to continue, which I wasn't planning on it. I had to make it up on the fly. Because I was like, oh, okay, I got some time, and I love.
You had no time.
That. I had no time. I had a minute. I had a minute of me to drink my drink and come up with some bullshit. Of Alistair Kane and the Black 13th saving her because Alistair Kane was her teacher. So he wasn't going, because Alistair Kane at that time was also on the run from Signar. And he helped him escape and whatnot. So it was a good bullshit, but still, it was like, I like that. I like ending with a narrative, and a cliffhanger. And sometimes you just have to let the characters down easy, but still with a story point.
Yeah, that was something that I think I like this. I like to end things on a narrative, but I'm going to end them on a bigger narrative that's going to help, or it pushes the plot type thing, which I think is good.
I used to. There was a movie called The Gamers, and and it was like Gamers 2 Darkness Rising or something like that. And they were playing D&D, and the players were all about the rules. And the game master is basically like, no, story trumps rules. And there's back and forth between them. And I always think that the story to me is more important than what your charisma check was. I don't care if you rolled a natural 20 sometimes and you were hitting on the bartender or the bar maiden or something like that. If it doesn't help my story, I'm just gonna I'm gonna let it happen, but it doesn't impact the story as much as you might think.
Yeah.
Oh, but I hit on the bar maiden. Okay, cool. Is it mean sometimes? I try not to be mean. I'm not a son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Am I though? Am I? No.
We're all a little bit of an asshole. It's fine.
Yeah, I
That's
try
why we're
not to be.
friends.
Yeah.
We try not to be, but sometimes.
Right. Like, cool. I'm gonna make the bar maiden a vampire. Let's advance my story that way.
Yeah.
She's gonna kill you dead from it.
Yes, Slade, you are our asshole, and we love you for it. So there.
Hey, Slade. What was some other stuff? I really think that a lot of the things that they say in this, and like I said, we're not going to go over every detail. We're just going on the things that we thought were really good that were not a mechanic reason. These are not mechanical reasons. These are, let's make a good story reason. Let's make a good, get together, hang out, make good rules. Did we skip anything that we should have touched on, guys?
I mean, I kind of feel like a lot of these overlap. So it's, be a fan of your character and their journey, spotlight your friends, adjust characters and players. Building the world together also is, tied into some of that. So I feel like we got it all.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the GM one is like collaborate at all times, especially during conflict. Like, if you punch the guy in the face, make it cinematic. Tell me how you punched the guy in the face.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I always one of
You
the
added our
druid...
little mimics. They're so cute.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I did add our popcorn mimics. We're about to go to the media section. So I wanted to say, yesterday we tested and played the first game and the first session of Daggerheart with my local group. All of them are very much new or very new-ish to role-playing games. Not played a lot, but, definitely very new to it. And they were all able to get the concepts pretty quickly. Everybody was able to get how the game handles very well, which I thought was pretty good. Makes it sound like they know the system a little better. They did admit that visual representation of the miniatures helped them out a lot more, which is good. And so I put that on there and had them, we'll be doing miniatures more often. We did do a little measuring guide, so they kind of knew what close and very far and melee and all that stuff was, so they can figure that out. They started getting into it. We did spend about 2 hours kind of going over the rules and, character stuff and everything. So it was about, it really wasn't 2 hours because we did eat while we were doing this too. So there was a little bit of that, but we did spend a decent amount of time going over things. And I think when we start our next game session, we won't have that. So we don't have to worry about it. We'll just kind of get with all the other stuff. But I really liked it. And I think our players really liked it too, because there was a lot of cool, fun things going on. It wasn't just, I roll my dice, I miss. It was like, I roll my dice, I miss, GM takes over, blah, 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 blah. A prime example, Mizzy was trying to fight these two wraiths at the same time. She's playing a seraph, and she can throw her hammer or throw her weapon, and it can return back to her. Big old Thor type thing.
It's a warhammer. It's a
Yeah.
Warhammer named Mew Mew.
Yeah. And so she threw it, and when she threw it, she did it with fear, and so when it came back, it flew out of her hands and fell behind her, and she had to go get it. She still accomplished what she needed to do, but something negative happened, and it wasn't anything bad. It just that, that's just what happens.
My superhero pose ended with a empty hand.
Yes.
Which I find very cool.
Oh yes.
Because one of the GM points was do not take away from the player's success.
Correct.
Yeah.
They succeeded. Don't make it look like they didn't succeed. Don't make them feel bad. The fact that you dropped your hammer or you didn't catch it, you still hit them.
Yep.
I still hit him.
Yeah, and that's the thing it's the fell up system. I know this when we played the Final Fantasy or Fantasy Flight's Star Wars game. They had a fell up system. Something happens, but something bad happens in the process, which I'm okay with. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's very thing, and I always celebrate when the system comes out or whatever. This system comes with a fell up, and they go, "What's a fell up?" I go, prime example. You shoot a bunch of stormtroopers. But in the process of shooting the stormtroopers and killing them all, you set off the alarm. And they're like, oh, perfect example. Star Wars is very much a fell up world.
Yeah.
Tons of things that they do, and they fell upward. And Daggerheart represents that really well with the fate and fear dice, or the hope and fear dice. And when they get, it's interesting. I thought it was funny was when we were playing. They were like, "You got to fear." They're like, "Oh," and they're writing it down. So all of their character sheets are in like little sleeves, so they can dry erase things. Because your hope fluctuates so much, and your hit points fluctuate a lot too.
Yeah.
There's not a time that your hit points will go up and down quite often, type thing. And it was interesting because the hit points, you only get like 6 hit points in this game. And you're like,
yeah,
it's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, but whenever you get hit by like a severe attack, it's 3 hit points. So you can really get, messed up pretty quickly, but there's ways to mitigate it pretty quickly too.
Yes.
Fights.
Yes, I
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, there's short rest, long rest, and short. But that's what clerics are for, or seraphs. Like,
or wizards.
Seraphs are paladins. Actually.
Wizards are paladins. Yeah,
because wizards can actually heal in this game too.
Yes, yes. You depending on your dominion, right? Which dominion you take, and you can have a seraph that's a total tank, and that's like okay, aren't you supposed to be a guardian? No, I'm the cleric of this group.
But
like that.
A lot of their concepts they had in this were really good for just the basics of, guys, you're creating a story, go create the story. Let the dice dictate how things come out, but go find out. I kind of wish that it was recorded. We're not going to record these with our local group because sometimes we, as you do when you're sitting at a table, you get into tangents and talking about weird shit. So we wouldn't record it. But we are playing in the Wither Wilds, which is the best way to describe this is it is the Legend of Zelda meets Princess Mononoke meets Nazca Valley of the Wind. With a rampant disease and vegetation and monsters taking over the world. But kind of a whimsical one. Not too dark. Not like the Critical Role they're doing the Age of Umbra, which is what I would be typically run in. But it's not for this group. Which I'm actually going to watch what I can of that episode because I want to see how it is. Because 1, I want to see how they run the rules. 2, I want to see the world, and I just want to make sure that I not that I'm doing right, but that I am keeping to the spirit of the game. Best way to put it.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of I'm as Gonzo mentioned earlier, I do not like watching uh the shows because I want to play in it. I don't
Yep.
want to watch it. I want to roll dice.
Yep.
Uh, but I respect what they're doing. But this is the first time that I've actually sat and watched uh that episode. It was just a session zero, as you mentioned, they mentioned. But I do want to see more of it and see how it goes out because the Age of Umbra is probably where I will run my game. Um, if not, maybe the Western mechanical version. I have to read more on that one.
Oh, that
I'm
one's actually.
shocked, Nessie. I'm so shocked.
Right here, lady. Right here. But yeah, who knew? But
What's
yeah, no, it sounds very cool.
what's interesting is I've been reading like Reddit and discords and pages and such, and like there's a few very few that are doing the Wither Wilds, very few that are doing the Monster Hunter and the burning five banners or five banners burning. The ones that are the most popular are the Age of Umbra because of how dark it is, because it's based off of like Dark Souls.
Hmm.
The one that you're talking about, which is the Western Red Dead Redemption meets Shadows of the Colossus.
Colossus of the Drylands.
Yeah, Colossus of the Drylands. And then the other one, what's the mechanical one?
Motherboard.
Motherboard, which is Horizon Zero Dawn. And that one seems to be very popular.
The game is popular, so
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. And again, that'd probably be my second one. If depends on like the feedback the players if after that, you know, but also whatever I can decide. I something draws me and then that's it. Like
Yeah.
Curse of Strahd has always been my favorite and I love running it and that's the world I play now when I play 5e. I might like Dragonlance, but Curse of Strahd will always bring me back in.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay, I hear you and I respect it, but hear me out. Beast Feast sounds like a hell of a good time.
I think Beast Feast would be really good for like a convention one off because it is, and they right off the bat, delicious in dungeon, guys. That's what it is.
Yes.
Mhm.
That would be great for a one off type thing. It is very much delicious in dungeon. They tell you how about recipes and everything. And guys, if you honestly have not bought the game, please go buy it. You can get a PDF for like $35 from like Demiplane, or you can
Mhm.
order it off of a website. And then once you order it, you may have to wait for the book, but you'll get the PDF also.
Yep.
But I suggest ordering it if you can order it from like online website, so you can get the PDF and then the book. I recommend it because when I ordered it from Critical Role, I think it was like $60, and you got all the physical, all the cards, so on and so forth. But you got a free PDF also, which I highly respect. That's very
Yeah.
respectable.
I ordered it from Amazon and it didn't give me the free PDF, or maybe it's coming in with the book. Um, but thankfully Josh ordered it and we were able to see the book. But it's a really good book and I'm looking forward to the physical hard copy. The artwork is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I want to say that.
yeah. I don't know how this is gonna go. Final big battle, end of story type thing. But I built a few characters that were, upper level, and they look like they're going to be a shit ton of fun. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see. All
And
right.
on a quick note, they do have playtesting for the warlock and monk fighter.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh, the
so
Warlocks is so cool.
I'm
so
big excited for the Warlock.
I
Yeah.
saw that and I was like, okay, that will be fun if you can fit that in your game and you want to play test it. That's cool.
Yeah, the Warlock will be in. They actually met their first story BBG. Um, which is Cynthoria, and she was a warlock that raised the dead to try to stop the final fight. I included the
That
story.
bitch.
I need to take pictures of those models and show them off because
Yeah, you do.
everything turned out to be really cool. So, but
You know when the bad guy gets that bitch or that bastard after you mention them, it's a success.
Well, what's funny is that character is actually tied to our wizard. And so the concept, so just so everybody knows, I made everybody's character, but I kind of tailored it per person to kind of fit them and give them a little tweak. Nobody was hamstrung that they had to play this character once we went final live, but everybody said, yeah, I like this character. I just want to change this. And some people changed some stuff. So our wizard character, one of the questions that you have to ask is who is your rival and what have they done? And so I took the old concept of Indiana Jones. No matter what, Indiana Jones is always trying to find the artifact. There's always some stupid fucking Nazi that takes it from him. And so Synthoria is the fucking piece of shit that steals everything from the wizard right before the wizard gets it. Or right after the wizard gets it. And that
I love it.
Yeah. And it was already, I put Synthoria down and I go, and I look to the wizard and says, you recognize this Inferni, and it is Synthoria. And she goes, that bitch better get right off the bat. And so, you know, and that's perfect because I want characters to feel that. Although I did say, that's a cool looking character. I'm like, yeah, Synthoria is a big fucking bitch. She looks
Look,
cool.
the aesthetic can be on point, but that bitch.
Yep. That's how you know it's a successful NPC.
Yes.
Right. Regardless of whether the wizard knew it was her enemy or not, the fact that all the players afterwards still say that bitch is spot on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what I do. I want you to hate my bad guys. I don't ever want you to root for my bad guys. I want you to hate my bad guys more than anything.
Yeah. Josh had a bad guy that all of us, when we played in his game, said, God damn it, really? Him again? Why? He's like a bad penny, always showing up. And the smile on Josh's face said it all. So,
yeah. So
that's beautiful.
We'll see her. We'll see Synthoria more. We'll see Lynn Reaper's song coming up. So there'll be continuing reoccurring evil NPCs. So.
Nice.
Let's go and get to the media section. We've been sitting on the screen for a little bit. Enjoy our new mimic, popcorn eating mimics, as we talk about our media section. So one of the things we're going to talk about is today is the season finale of Last of Us. So next week we'll give a final review of everything that's this season. I've liked this season so far, but I think they're cutting it short. And I'll give a final review for when it comes up, but I'm enjoying it. I've always been a big fan of Last of Us. Last of Us Season 2 has still been good. I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with it. So I am waiting on it. And as soon as I'm done here, I have to do one thing with the printer, and then I'm going to go watch the episode.
We have to wait for 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we have to wait till 9 o'clock after I load everything up and get some stuff done. But really looking forward to it. I'm off tomorrow, so I'll probably be playing some games or whatever. I don't know if you all see us in our Discord chat, make sure you just jump in. You come in, hang out with us for a bit, talk, play games with us, or something you want to play, let us know. We still have characters on multiple servers.
Yeah.
So, Nessie, what is your first one for the night?
So I actually saw Sinners tonight. With Michael B. Jordan, Hailey Steinfeld. It's a movie by, oh my God, the director and writer of Creed and Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Phenomenal movie, and I've been waiting to see it for a while, just trying to find the right time. And I mentioned it to my girlfriend who's visiting this weekend. And she's like, "Oh, that sounds cool." And if you're not familiar with the movie, I want to know how, but okay. It's set in 1930s Mississippi. Jim Crow laws are still apparent and running wild, and it's after Prohibition. And Michael B. Jordan is playing twin brothers, Smoke and Stack, and they have come back to their hometown in the Delta in Mississippi. To open up a club, and they deal with the Klan and all these other nefarious things that are going on. on top of vampires. And the vampires don't show up until like maybe I would say an hour into the movie, maybe hour and a half. Um, but the music is great. The players, the characters are just great. It's a great movie. Uh, no space RPs. This movie is as great as I could possibly have asked for. And if you can get a chance to go see it before it runs out or when it comes out on streaming services, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good reviews and everything on this, that it was quite good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Mizzy?
So we sat down and watched The Fountain of Youth on Apple, was it? I think.
Yep, Apple TV.
Yeah, Apple TV. So it's got John Krasinski, Natalie Portman, and we got a little special appearance from Stanley Tucci, which is always very nice to see because Stanley Tucci is wonderful in
awesome.
everything he touches.
that man.
Let's see. So it was a really good, fun movie. It gave National Treasure, Indiana Jones type
Yep.
adventure stuff
Very
vibes.
much so.
Good fun stuff. Really liked it. I'd give it a 1.5. It was a good watch.
Yeah.
Nice.
We watched it, and I thought it was. I agree with Mizzy. I'm a little bit more on the 2 side because there was a little bit of slower parts, but it wasn't
Fair.
a bad movie by any definition. It was. It had some pacing, a little bit of pacing issues at a couple of times, but it was very much an Indiana Jones, National Treasure, type of movie that was going on, and it was good. If you got Apple TV,
Worth a watch.
yeah, worth the time to sit down, turn your brain off for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, I've been catching up on a lot of shows, so I caught up on The Handmaid's Tale. This is the final season. Final episode is this week, and I am really looking forward to it because, of course, they're past the book, so I'm really looking forward to how they end the series, because it's going to be a challenge and difference. And I'm 100% looking forward to this. Yes, this show makes me rage. This show is supposed to make you rage, because this is the point of it. And if you don't rage at this, you've got some problems. You should cheer and clap when the good guys do something and say fuck you when the bad guys do something, and go oh shit type thing. I love this show just because of how well it's done and what they've done with it, but I hate this show because of what it's about and what it's doing.
Because of the content.
Yeah, because of the content. But it is a very good. The acting is great. Characters are good. I just can't wait to see what the finale is. So I'll give a review on that next week also.
So, real quick, at what point in the show did they go past the book?
After first season.
Okay.
From my understanding, after the first season, they went because the book, there is no true ending, from what I understand. In the book, it just is a story and what they're left with. And I believe it's after first season it's off of the book.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I think.
So it'll be kind of like The Last of Us when they finish the second part of the game, I guess, right?
See, we've got one episode left and we're only
There's speculation.
I think that season 3 will be the second half of season 2.
Makes sense
because they've missed so much of the game so far.
Yes. Which Josh is already on me for Last of Us and Andor. So I've got to catch up.
Yeah. Nezzy, what else you got?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go for it.
I watched The Last of Us and Fountain of Youth because I'm a slacker and I had other things I needed to do. So, Nessie?
I binged watched this weekend The Fall of House of Usher finally. actually I've been binging most of Mike Flanagan's work on Netflix. So I saw uh Haunting of Bly Manor and Midnight Club, and tonight I will finish The Fall of House of Usher. Um, I want to say that I've enjoyed all the shows that are on Netflix by Mike Flanagan. As of right now, The Fall of House of Usher is got to be on my top two, next to either Midnight Mass or Haunting a Hill House. Um, but The Fall of House of Usher is a lot better than I didn't know about it until just recently, and I caught up, and I was like, oh my god, this show is awesome, and my girlfriend has seen it a lot because she's watching it with me and saying lines, and she's like giggling as things happen, and she's like, you'll see, and then thankfully she doesn't ruin the show for me. She just kind of just giggles as things happen, like as I'm like yelling at it, like, oh my god, I couldn't believe that happened, and she's just like, oh, just wait, oh, just wait. And she's like the game master that's like, puppet master, moving things around for me to get super excited, and then when it happens, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Um, yeah, I think there's some little parts to it. Probably I'd give it like the entire series like one space herpy. Um, because there's some parts I'm like it's really predictable. Um, but I enjoy the show, so that's okay. I spoke too much about it. All right.
I just like everybody else, I was just catching up on shows. I didn't watch a lot. I was doing a lot of painting and getting stuff ready for what was going on. But um there was there's not much on TV right now. That's what I've noticed. And there's not a lot of movies. We're coming into the summer of movies. I know the new Captain America should be hitting Disney pretty soon, and so I'll probably watch that when it comes out. But there wasn't a lot of shows that were coming out. I was just like, okay, I'll just wait and see what's going on, because there's really not a lot. I did, like I said, the last thing I did watch was on Netflix was The Devil's Plan, which is a reality. And I put quotes around that TV show where these people complete strange and interesting game puzzles against each other, and they eliminate someone, so on and so forth. So I
That's
love
your
that
Asian
shit.
game show, right?
Yeah, it's a South Korean game show. And I love that shit. I love hard game puzzle things that are like super intriguing, super hard to figure out, and have like hidden meanings in them and hidden rules that you don't know about. Um, so I thought it was really, really good. I like those stuff. But once you watch it, you're done because you know the consequences of what happens in that. So it kind of goes away. But they had some really cool games. And so I really appreciate it. I thought it was great. I like those shows. So I'm waiting for any, and I'm sure they're going to do another season. Hopefully they do another season because I thought it was really cool.
Nice.
Nestor, you got anything else?
I don't think so. Like I said, I just been binge watching a lot of Mike Flanagan uh, TV shows on Netflix, and that's pretty much it. And printing on my 3D printer for work, and painting up models, and that's yeah, and just reading Daggerheart. So it's either painting, printing, or reading role playing stuff.
Just a
Oh,
bunch of it.
yes, I did get a new book from Free League Publishing for Dungeons and Dragons. Lord of the Rings 5e.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the uh, story of the three Elven Rings.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Uh, it's a lot of um. It's a very good book, and I actually picked up a lot of their stuff during Gen Con, and then it just as things go, you just keep buying books. Uh, so it came in, and it's been a lot of fun to read when I can read it. But as we talk about, Daggerheart has been captivating a lot of my time, which is a good thing. But I'm a sucker of Lord of the Rings, and having a Dungeons and Dragons 5e type of environment to play it sounds good to me. So might as well grab onto it.
Yeah, I want the Free League stuff. I want the rest of the Lord of the Rings. I have the core book, the non 5e Lord of the Rings stuff, and I'd like to have all the other Free League books that are not 5e for Lord of the Rings, just because, like you, I like that shit.
Yeah, I think it was the Moria book that I picked up at Gen Con when it came out. I was so excited to see it. The Mines of Moria, Khazad-dûm. That I picked up everything else, and they were great. They were like, "Oh, if you spend $100, we'll give you 20% off." And I was like, "Ooh, that's awesome!" It ends up being I end up actually spending $100, so it was like, "Oh, now it's $80." And you get free PDFs and on top of it. So,
And you're a sucker for a good deal, just like I am.
right? It's like, ooh, spend $100. You mean if I spend $100, which I was already going to do anyway, I get 20% off? Sold.
Yep. All right, guys, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Don't forget, we'll be here next week. I will definitely do some painting and such on Wednesday. I think it's me and Nestor this week. And we'll be working on models or painting and hanging out. Come and hang out with us. We can have a good time. Other than that, as always, take care of yourself and take care of your friends. If you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. If you can do something about it. If you can't, find someone who will, because we've got to look after each other. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm Izzy.
I'm Nessie.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to More Than Dice, making the world a better, nerdier place, one dumb joke at a time. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more nerdy action or to connect with your hosts, check them out on Facebook.com/morethandice and Twitch.tv/more_than_dice. Until next time, stay nerdy, stay proud, and we'll see you soon on the More Than Dice podcast.